Welcome to this late evening coffee and dinner and vigil. Yours truly, Adrian H. Dragon born, being reborn, Adrian Hunter Dragon. Yours truly, androgynous, pansexual founder of the dancing goddess and the dragon empire, which are one empire under the stars, under the sun, under the moon, on earth, for world peace, international justice, and global freedom, and attaining harmony between civilization and nature, by creating the two complementary covenant cooperative institutions, the International Citizen Integrated Social Security Force, aka the Dragon Army, in order to secure the three elements of civilization via public-private partnership. Those three essential elements of civilization are food, housing, and transport for all, in complementary covenant cooperative institution with the International Integrated Dance League, aka the Dancing Goddess Army, in order to organize mass dancing events for the cleaning of the oceans, rivers, waters, lakes, mountains, valleys thereof, and attain harmony between civilization and nature. Creating these two institutions via the Phoenix People's Party, the anti-war, anti-poverty, anti-racism, pro-love, universal revolutionary centrist party, by debt refusion, taking all existing private and public debt, creating a global central bank to issue a universal unit of exchange, preferably by biometrics. The hand, the voice, and the eye are unique biometrics identifiers. So taking all debt, my private is about, got $10,000 private debt. Yours is maybe more, maybe less. Taking all X's, all Y's. If X is the private debt, such as if I'm X1, I'm 10,000, you're X2, and there's hundreds of thousands, millions, hundreds of millions across the world. And with the private debt of private citizen individuals, the public debt, so let's say Y, Canada, so let's say Y1, Y2 United States, Y3 Germany, Y4 Israel, and so on. Plusing the X and the Y's, and the number, whatever the number is, it's probably in the trillions of dollars. We can calculate it, and let's figure that one out. We can probably figure it tonight. I'm gonna do some research. I know mine is $10,000. Yours can be another 10,000 or more or less, adding it all up together, with that number crediting this global central bank to issue a universal unit of exchange. In order to issue the universal unit parallel exchange by whatever the number is in all the private and the public debt, and with that number crediting creation of this global central bank of the Dancing Goddess and the Dragon and the Phoenix People's Party, the anti-war, anti-poverty, anti-racism, universal revolutionary centrist party, creating this global central bank to create the two institutions, complementary covenant cooperative institutions, the Dancing Goddess Army, the National Integrated Dance League. Integrated, it will be in all gender, all ages, all sexual orientations, inclusive dance, and dance with a purpose, to dance for the mass cleaning of the oceans, rivers, waterways, and lakes, complementary to the Dragon Army, which will secure food, housing, and transport for all, calling all willingly living, just like paradoxically in my scenario. To create an institution, my scenario I'm referring to, of course, is the paradox of my scenario resembling the COVID-19 health and financial crises, which of course which began in October 2019, as yours truly had analyzed the situation geopolitically. Back in 2019 October, as a world peace advocate, independent student, scholar of history, wars, geopolitics, and civilization, and had come to the conclusion as an independent student, scholar of history, wars, civilization, an independent security analyst and theorist, as a world peace advocate, incarnated in many lives, many nations, many empires. Yours truly, Adrian H. Dragon born, being reborn, Adrian Anna Dragon. Every push-up, every squat, every hawk, every coffee that I drink, food that I eat, sun ray that hits my body, moonlight that I gaze upon, star that I count, as Adrian Anna Dragon, androgynous, pansexual founder of the Dancing Goddess, of the Dragon Empire for world peace, international justice, and global security, securing global freedom by the aforementioned two institutions, and attaining harmony between civilization, development, and nature, by the two institutions, complementary covenant cooperative institutions, just like the Dragan army, like envisioned in my scenario, which predated COVID by about 93 days since it began October 2019. And my workout, of course, the General War Integrated Total Body Training System, designed and made and created to go hand in hand with a World War III scenario after I'd taken into consideration the US-China trade war began in 2018 by the Trump administration. Other historical events such as Pearl Harbor and the arrest of Meng Wanzhou, aka Cathy Meng, the chief financial officer of Huawei, who had overtaken Apple and Samsung to become the biggest telecommunication smartphone equipment maker. I'd analyzed and put that into consideration in the US-China trade war, and afterwards the arrest of Michael Kovrig, by authorities in China. So taking those into now, they were released. It's been 2 weeks ago, 3 days ago. It's been 2 weeks on Friday, unadmitted, not admitted openly, but a quid pro quo exchange nonetheless. Black coffee. Remember the motto of the dancing goddess army, that all ALL fruits, vegetables, and legumes are made, created, and produced by the dance of the goddess with her brother sun. Even this black coffee bean, which comes from a red berry, and all these delicious vegetables, no meat, just veggies with Parmesan cheese, were made. All those vegetables were made, created, and produced by the dance of the goddess, whose emblem is there, who dances with her brother the sun, to make, create, and produce all ALL fruits, vegetables, and legumes. Even the black coffee bean that our brothers and sisters farmers harvest for us to build, maintain, or upgrade civilization, and that their hands deserve to be kissed, feet washed, or vice versa, and vice versa, and their bodies massaged by the leaders of the free world in the parliament, in the House of Commons, in the Senate, in Canada, US, and NATO, North Atlantic Treaty Organization member countries or states. This is gonna be a vigil. I'm gonna be vigiling upon a candle. I'm gonna put this underneath just for security reasons and wrap it a bit like this. So this candle, a white candle for healing, regeneration, and rebirth. I'll be lighting with the official colors of the Dancing Goddess Army, the green and the red, the Dragan Army and the Dancing Goddess and the Dragan Empire, green and red, official colors respectively, and the rainbow of the Phoenix, of course. People's Party. Yours truly has found that during this COVID, so we'll wait a bit. Was founded during this COVID, Adrian H. Dragan, truly Hana Dragan, Dancing Goddess and the Dragon Empire for world peace, international justice, global freedom, securing and ensuring global freedom while attaining harmony between civilization and nature. For the greater good, this vigil, eating, meditating, and reading with coffee on this Thanksgiving, Canadian Thanksgiving, October 11th. Guess we're gonna have to get some more or just forgo the candle come back. Success, success, success. Put it next to the coffee, under strict supervision. And this vigil begins. So yours truly, Adrian H. Dragonborn, being reborn during this COVID. I had COVID at the end of January. 2020 was very sickle and disease. It was like death, pestilence, and disease. I had 2 Pfizer shots in my tattoo of the goddess in her forehead. I'm willing to get the 3rd. Encourage you all to exercise, regularly train, offer what you can, take care of your body. For my allies and armies, the body is a temple for pleasure and for purpose. Just earlier today was in about a 77-minute bath, maybe 93, between 77 and 93 minutes bath. I know it was minimum 77 that I can guarantee, but I'm not sure it was 93. So anywhere between 77 minutes and 93, so more than an hour bath today. I stayed in the bath. For hygiene, when you go outside, when you go in, notice a lot of people laxing when they go into the grocery store, into the bank, XYZ. Just rub, preferably twice, but at least once. Give everybody the benefit of the doubt that when they have in the car, they do it, or they have a policy when they go out of the car outside to get groceries, and when they come back, XYZ. It can be, but hygiene is important. We can get dirty, and I'm not perfect. Far from it. Got vices, got lust. I've dealt with loneliness, depression, suicide, precarious employment, financial crisis. Even now, I'm living the worst financial crisis of my adult life with this COVID. But my rent is paid until October 31st. So it's 11th today. Until October 31st, Halloween. My rent's paid. Bought noodle bags, so I'm good for a few more weeks if there's a crisis with those. So from the goddess that gets kissed from the goddess of heaven, 1 kiss turns into 93 trillion kisses. For my allies and armies, got kisses, massages, rubs, push-ups, hogs, squats. From the eye of the dragon, the sun, millions of push-ups, squats, hogs, which you also will do in the coming days, weeks, and months ahead until December, in the streets and on the mountain, in nature and in civilization, for the dancing goddess and the dragon empire and the phoenix people's party, yours truly, to do some reading. Just a little bit of this. I'm grateful for this food, for my friend, my teacher, and what I love and call sister. Trinity, sister, friend, teacher. 4th dimension to that trinity of friend, teacher, and sister. The one I love and call sister has been my only family for many, many years now. And it's years of struggle, and now the working out, training, exercising, yours truly being reborn. Adrian Hanna Dragon. My allies and armies, in my name, may you be blessed with healing, health, joy, vitality, wisdom, understanding, knowledge, to do dance moves, dance, to do workout, to train, to exercise, to love, get dirty but get back clean, love your bodies, our temples for pleasure and for purpose. If I can give some pleasure or some healing or massage or kiss any of my allies and armies, yours truly, Adrian Dragon, to my allies and armies at your service. But all orders given by yours truly, Dragon Zero, must be obeyed by the Dragon Army. With a dancing goddess, yours truly, the priestess, yes, it goddess, 7 holy, little holy, sacred, divine word, G-O-D-D-E-S-S. When they say God, I say and the goddess. Who dances with a brother sun to make, create, and produce all fruits, vegetables, and legumes. Even these ones that I'm about to eat and this black coffee bean. That is the motto of the dancing goddess army. All fruits, vegetables, and legumes are made, created, and produced by the dance of the goddess with her brother the sun, that our brothers and sisters farmers harvest. You cannot argue with that. For us to build, maintain, or upgrade civilization, or do art, or rap, or dance, or all the things we do with computer science, with Instagram, Facebook, build, maintain, or upgrade civilization as we look towards the stars now. My children look toward the stars, star count. And the motto of the Dragan, of course, army is nobody is born a dragon. Not even yours truly would surname Dragan. The blood, sweat, and tears, and thousands of push-ups, thousands of squats, thousands of hawks, millions of marching steps in steel-toe boots, barefoot in my room office and temple steel-toe boots in Hawkeye in Montreal, or my running shoes that my friend, oftentimes teacher, the one I love and call sister, got me to that trinity of sister, friend, teacher as the fourth dimension being my one and only financial sponsor at the moment. The blood, sweat, and tears to turn that A into an O. And that is the motto of the Dragan Army. You don't have to be a Dragon soldier, a peacekeeper, or warrior, or to be part of the Dragan Army, but if you will, you gotta be able to do the general war integrated whole body training system within the rules that I've created, of course, paradoxically in a providential parallel way 93 days before COVID in October 2019. And I've performed in my underground room house and temple 213 sessions of the general war integrated whole body training system, and now I'm doing them in different types of way with hard rocks, hard blocks, with hard concrete, man-made or nature-given vine mountains, or on the side of the river in Hawk Island, formerly known as Montreal, headquarters of the Dancing Goddess and the Dragon Empire. Yours truly, Dragon Zero, Priestess HNAH Adriana Dragan, androgynous pansexual founder of the Dancing Goddess and the Dragon Empire, which are one empire under the sun, under the stars, under the moon, on earth, for world peace, international justice, and global freedom, securing global freedom, attaining harmony between civilization and nature, and joy and pleasure of my children, and health and joy, love and unity, and well-being and wisdom and understanding and knowledge. Our bodies are temples for pleasure and for purpose, to work, to volunteer, to exercise. Once we have secured the three elements of civilization, food, housing, and transport for all, by this should be the mission of the Dragon Army via public-private partnership. Absorb the Dragon Army, all existing public and private security forces, just like envisioned in my scenario and created in 2019. In my scenario, paradoxically, the World War III scenario, what causes it is a stock market crash. Now that occurred due to COVID 93 days later. And since in my scenario of World War III, the destruction and the devastation, there was the solution for reconstruction, for rebuilding back better, a reset, a rebirth and regeneration. That's what since July 24, 2020 I began advocating for. The creation of the International Citizen Integrated Social Security Force, aka the Dragon Army, just like envisioned in my scenario, absorb and integrate with all existing public and private security forces in order to secure food, housing, and transport for all. Once those three are secured by the public-private partnership, we can encourage people to volunteer, work out, train, exercise, do community work, to work out, train, exercise, which is, has been, and will be medicine and therapy for yours truly, as I believe it is for many, and encourage people to volunteer, work out, learn. And since we have, since 1984, a lot of specialization, which is very good and great, but now we need a lot of more, so in parallel, complementary integration of my theory put into practice of democratic fusion and universal revolutionary centrism for world peace, international justice, and global freedom, the public and the private partnerships, ensure and secure the private and the public. This public-private partnership, yours truly, securing food, housing, and transport, Dragon Army, and attaining harmony between civilization and nature, Dancing Goddess Army. Two institutions, complementary, cooperative, covenant institutions thereof. is July 24th, 2020 due to COVID. Seeing that it resembles my scenario, and my scenario had not only destruction and World War III and stock market crash, which of course due to COVID, the stock market crash began crashing, and the stock market crash, COVID-induced stock market crash, occurred February 20th, 2020 and ended April 7th, 2020. Let's go for ongoing recessions and depression, worst economic, financial, commercial crisis since the Great Depression and the Second World War in more than 77 years. So my solution, my theory developed over the past years where I struggled, suffered, depressed, suicidal, lonely, you name it, chronic unemployment, or precarious work, gig work, had made the libraries of the city of Montreal my second home, and the thousands of books my friends and written thousands of pages of theory, of poetry, of scripts, of creative art, creative writing, and social political philosophy, which is embodied now in the Dancing Goddess and the Dragan Empire and the Phoenix People's Party, and one of it being debt refusion, DBT, debt refusion theory, to be put into practice, taking all existing private and public debt, taking that number of all private and public debt, and with that number crediting the Universal Central Bank to issue you a universal unit of exchange, to create the two aforementioned complementary covenant cooperative institutions, the Dancing Goddess Army and the Dragan Army, in parallel complementary, to attain world peace, international justice, global freedom, securing and ensuring global freedom, attaining harmony between civilization and nature. Yours truly, Adriana Dragan. Love my allies and armies. Kisses, hugs, rubs, massages from the goddess on the Sabbaths, which begin Fridays. Special 11th of October, I'm going to be doing some reading for some mind-body meditation today. Just going to read the Wikipedia article. Thanksgiving, Canadian Thanksgiving, Action de Grâce, or Thanksgiving Day, is an annual Canadian holiday held on the second Monday in October, which celebrates the harvest and other blessings of the past year. Outside of Canada, it is sometimes called Canadian Thanksgiving, to distinguish it from Thanksgiving in the United States, held in late November. Thanksgiving has been officially celebrated as an annual holiday in Canada since November 6, 1879. Providential paradoxical parallel, November 6, 84 is yours truly birthday. Physical in this incarnation, many past lives. In ancient Egypt, ancient Rome, United States, USA, 156 years ago, serving in the U.S. Army, 718 miles down south from Hawk Island, Montreal. And born in North America, many past lives, hundreds of years ago, many times. But in this life, Thanksgiving has been officially celebrated as an annual holiday in Canada since November 6, 1879. So 156 years. While the date varied by year not fixed, it was commonly the second Monday in October. On January 31st, 1957, the Governor-General of Canada, Vincent Massey, issued a proclamation stating, "A day of general thanksgiving to Almighty God for this bountiful harvest with which Canada has been blessed, to be observed on the second Monday in October." And yours truly, Adriana Dragan, thanks the farmers who farmed the fruits, the potatoes, the carrots, and the rutabaga, that the goddess who dances with part of the sun. Because when they say God, I say, and the goddess, yes, I only live to say this and die tonight, know that I said, proclaim, and the goddess that dances with a bird, the sun, to make, create, or produce all fruits, vegetables, and legumes like this one, which is the motto of the Dancing Goddess and the Dragan Empire, and are harvested by our brothers and sisters farmers for us to build, maintain, or upgrade civilization. Thanksgiving is a statutory holiday in most Canada and an optional holiday in the Atlantic provinces of Prince Edward Island, Newfoundland and Labrador, Nova Scotia, and New Brunswick. Companies that are regulated by the federal government, such as those in the telecommunications and banking sectors, recognize the holiday everywhere. Celebration of being thankful for what one has and the bounty of the previous year. So, although I'm living in a financial crisis, worst of my life, got about $10,000 in debt. My rent is paid. I'm not late on rent. Got affordable rent here in this underground room off St. Temple, thanks to my friend, oftentimes teacher, the one I love and call sister. I was able to buy a few dozen, or maybe 37, maybe 38, 37 or 38, maybe 38 noodle bags, affordable, cheap, least expensive on the market. So got some food security, got some sardines, cans of sardines, and got this food, some more left over of the same food tomorrow. So in theory, got food to survive until coming days, weeks, and even maybe not months, but for about a few weeks. Got food, some cans. I could survive in some to work out, to train, to exercise, to love, to write poetry, to dance, and to keep on meditating, writing, working out, training, exercising, writing poetry, learning, as I'm doing now. It's grateful to all. In a parallel life, science, innovation, and technology would have been a chosen path diverged towards the spiritual, the artistic, psychological, irrational, emotional, physical. In a parallel life, science, innovation, and technology would have been yours truly chosen path. Traditional holiday. As a liturgical festival, Thanksgiving corresponds to the British and continental European harvest festival, with churches decorated with cornucopias, pumpkins, corn, wheat sheaves, and other harvest bounty. British and European harvest hymns are sung on the Sunday of Thanksgiving weekend, while the actual Thanksgiving holiday is on a Monday. Canadians may gather for their Thanksgiving feast on any day during the long weekend. However, Sunday is considered the most common. Foods traditionally served at Thanksgiving include roasted turkey, roast beef, ham, stuffing, mashed potatoes with gravy, sweet potatoes, cranberry sauce, sweet corn, various autumn vegetables. This is what I got. Autumn vegetables. No meat. Couldn't afford it. Couldn't afford the turkey this year. It's okay. I made a good apple pie though. Good chocolate apple pie. I bought some affordable grapes. So instead of the turkey, roast beef or ham, this. I got coffee. So mine's autumn vegetables, sprinkled with Parmesan cheese. It's not that cheesy taste because I didn't have that much left Parmesan cheese, but Was able to get that Parmesan cheese. Thank you to the Rainbow Ridge in my community where people may be blessed threefold. And to all involved, I've offered and will offer, of course, them at will services for those goods that you put may be rewarded threefold. And since I don't like to just offer blah blah blah, love, love is also action and to do service. Massage, cook for you, clean, rub, kiss, wash, feet, hands, head, paint, move boxes, do physical work, do artistic work, dance, open for business, and to service some of my allies and armies to serve yours truly. In true sense. Kinds of squashes. Oh, there's forgot to mention there's potatoes, rutabaga, carrots, and there's squash. With the squash I did it on the side, although in this meal now I mixed it together with the squash that I did on the side. This is the squash. Came out good. Mm-hmm. Forgot squash. All the autumn vegetables. Brussels sprouts, pumpkin pie, apple pie. I made apple pie. After I finish this, I'm gonna have some of my chocolate pie. Chocolate apple pie. Well, that's what I had. I had chocolate powder to mix it in, and that's what I made it. And glazed yams. Various regional dishes and desserts may also be served, including salmon, wild game, Jig's dinner with split pea pudding, butter tarts, and Nanaimo bars. In Canadian football, the Canadian Football League has usually held a nationally televised doubleheader, the Thanksgiving Day Classic. It is 1 or 2 weeks in which the league plays on Monday afternoons, the other being the Labor Day Classic. Many communities in Canada hold events in the week prior to and or on the day of the holiday. For example, the Markham Fair is the annual agricultural and harvest festival held during the weekend before Thanksgiving. Kitchener-Waterloo Oktoberfest holds an annual parade. I'm saying pride because I'm thinking of a pride. I'm biased. I'm LGBTQ pansexual rainbow here androgynous. So, so pride parade. I'm a pride parade. It's an annual parade. It's not pride, but I'm gonna get to that because it's National Coming Out Day, and we're gonna read that after we finish reading here. Holds an annual parade consisting of floats, civic figures in the region, local performance troops, and marching bands. And Fort Langley holds a widely attended neighborhood festival celebrating the cranberry harvest, in which local crafts, produce, and artisan goods are sold. History. According to some historians, the first celebration, Thanksgiving in North America, occurred during the 1579 voyage of Martin Frobisher from England in search of the Northwest Passage. His third voyage to the Frobisher Bay area of Baffin Island in the present Canadian territory of Nunavut, set out with the intention of starting a small settlement. His fleet of 15 ships were outfitted with men, materials, and provisions. However, the loss of one of his ships through contact with ice, along with many of the building materials, was to prevent him from doing so. The expedition was plagued by ice and freak storms, which at times scattered the fleet. On meeting again at their anchorage in Frobisher Bay, Master Wolfall, a learned man appointed by Her Majesty's Council to be their minister and preacher, made unto them a godly sermon, exhorting them especially to be thankful to God for their strange and miraculous deliverance in those so dangerous places. They celebrated Holy Communion, and the celebration of divine mystery was the first sign, skill, and confirmation of Christ's name, death, and passion over known in all those quarters. The notion of Frobisher service being first on the continent has come into dispute. Spaniards conducted similar services in Spanish North America during the mid-16th century, decades before Frobisher's arrival. Years later, French settlers, having crossed the ocean and arrived in Canada, would explore Samuel de Champlain from 1604, also held feasts of thanks. They formed the Order of Good Cheer and held feasts with their First Nations neighbors, at which food was shared. Yeah, that's nice. After the 7 Years' War ended in 1763, with New France handed over to the British, the citizens of Halifax held a special day of Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving days were observed beginning in 1799 but did not occur every year. During and after the American Revolution, American refugees who remained loyal to Great Britain moved from the newly independent United States to Canada. They brought the customs and practices of the American Thanksgiving to Canada, such as the turkey, pumpkin, and squash. Lower Canada and Upper Canada observed Thanksgiving on different dates, for example. In 1816, both celebrated Thanksgiving for the termination of the War of 1812 between France, the US, and Great Britain, with Lower Canada marking the day on May 21st and Upper Canada on June 18, Waterloo Day. In 1838, Lower Canada used Thanksgiving to celebrate the end of the Lower Canada Rebellion. Following the rebellions, the two Canadas were merged into a united province of Canada, which observed Thanksgiving 6 times from 1850 to 1865. During this period, Thanksgiving was a solemn midweek celebration. The first Thanksgiving Day after Confederation was observed as a civic holiday on April 5, 1872, to celebrate the recovery of the Prince of Wales, later King Edward VII, from a serious illness. For many years before it was declared a national holiday in 1879, Thanksgiving was celebrated in either late October or early November. Like we said, first official was November 6, 1879. From 1879 onward, Thanksgiving Day has been observed every year, the date initially being a Thursday in November. After World War I, an amendment to the Armistice Day Act established that Armistice Day and Thanksgiving would, starting in 1921, both be celebrated on the Monday of the week in which November 11th occurred. Interesting. 10 years later, in 1931, the 2 days became separate holidays, and Armistice Day was renamed Remembrance Day. From 1931 to 1957, the date was set by proclamation, generally falling on the second Monday in October, except for in 1935, when it was moved due to a general election. In 1957, Parliament fixed Thanksgiving as the second Monday in October. The theme of the Thanksgiving holiday also changed each year to reflect an important event to be thankful for. In its early years, it was for an abundant harvest and occasionally for a special anniversary. Extended families often travel to celebrate Thanksgiving together. In 2020, during the COVID-19 pandemic, infections increased noticeably after the holiday, confirmed by contact tracing to correlate with gatherings. November 12, 2020, will Thanksgiving be a COVID-19 disaster? Now we're gonna finish some reading on the Thanksgiving, doing a special Adrian Hana Dragon Rainbow Dragon Priestess of the Goddess, Dancing Goddess Dragon Empire. Makes people's party special Thanksgiving. The Goddess makes and produces and creates all fruits, vegetables, and legumes with a dance with her brother, the sun, that our brothers and sisters, farmers, harvest workers, to build, maintain, or upgrade civilization, the humanity, and ensuring, securing freedom, moving towards love. Love is action, and harmony between civilization and nature. For World Federation, a global community of peace, And we gotta, of course, find venues psychological to channel the aggression, the forces. It needs to be psychologically fulfilled, understand that. And admit, open the past struggles, whether sexuality, whether with prejudices, whether with racism or misogyny or poverty or XYZ, and move forward and reset and secure food, housing, and transport, and everybody to have their liberty in public and their security once they step out in public, to love, to work out, to dance, to exercise. I encourage in the public domain of the dancing goddess and the Dragon Empire people to exercise, work out, train, and of course, if anybody wills to be 2 meters away from another fellow brother or sister, to have that liberty for XYZ reasons, fears, or fear of whatever XYZ, or microbes, germs, bacteria, whatever it is, or just because they're more, who need more personal space, be it so. Gotta ensure that public and the private domain, the harmony and the security and the ensuring liberty and freedom thereof between the public and the private is the dancing goddess and the dragon empire. It's mission, vision, and philosophy for world peace, international justice, global freedom. Now I'm gonna be doing their reading on National Coming Out Day. National Coming Out Day, and then it is also Revolution Day. No, it's not. Oh, that's the National Newspaper Day, the National Revolution Day in North Macedonia, United States, General Alaska, National Coming Out Day since yours truly. Whoa, got some more coffee here ready. It's of course special as yours truly. Part of the LGBTQ being pansexual and androgynous. Adrian Hannah Dragon, keep my holy, sacred, and divine name out of your mouth. It is not for a blessing. To my allies and armies, kissy kiss, washy wash, massage, massage. Rub, rub, kiss, kiss, rub, rub, kiss, 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 kiss. From the goddess or the starlit. Click, click, poetry, roll up the pull some tricks. We can wrap up in this bitch. Yep, we can rock and lick and flex, and we can put the green, green, green and red and rainbow up in the black hair. Yep, we can do it layers. We can drag and spit a fire. We can drag and fade the liars. We can call up fender liars. You would have said a God, 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 where the God is at. Yeah, yeah, put your BDSM switch up on the leash. Open marriage, asking you to marry me up in the strict for world peace. Kanye, yeah, marry me, yo, for world peace. I'm asking Kanye, yeah, yeah. Although love the beats, can't afford money to go record my own album studio, but the only disappointment, yeah, 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 Kanye is that in the album, heard God, 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 but no goddess. Be sure if I make music, be as many times I say God, I'm gonna be half, 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 50%. I'm gonna make it score equal. Say goddess. You can best bet on that. There's no guy without a goddess. Goddess makes, creates, and produces all fruits, vegetables, and legumes. But I dance with a brother the sun and gets one kiss from a goddess of heaven, starlit, and that kiss one kiss turns into 93 trillion kisses, 718 billion kisses, 611,418,156,000 kisses. Continuing the vigil. This black coffee bean was made, created, and produced by the dance of the goddess with her brother the sun. And the dance is continuous. Now the sun rises, now the sun sets, and yours truly was a farmer many lives, not in this life. Born November in '84. I realized how fucking useless I can fucking be with a COVID since I don't fucking own a farm. And we got ICBM nuclear warheads, boom, boom, boom. And I realized the privilege and how interconnected some privileges that we have all in different levels of degrees. It's our interconnected societies and the struggles, of course, my own personal pain, suffering, being suicidal, depressed, lonely, poor, etc., etc., etc. On collective, with Canada, with Indigenous Natives, USA, with XYZ, with slavery, XYZ around the world, with wars, with racism, with homophobia. I've endured in freedom, double-edged sword with my tiny hands, tiny feet, tiny clit dick, that trinity, tiny clit dick, tiny hands, tiny feet. I admit, sword of freedom too hard, god damn it, heavy to lift. Maybe my sister, friend, teacher helps. Ensure and secure freedom. National Coming Out Day. Well, I've come out 7 years ago, I think in Halloween. This Halloween is going to be 7 years. And this Halloween is going to be 7 years. 2014 Halloween Day. Yeah. Halloween. 7 years ago, this Halloween is going to be 7 years anniversary for yours truly coming out. It's regular Halloween and yours truly ate Hana Dragan. I understand many are in the closet for XYZ reasons. Financial, spiritual, religious, social, political, across the world, right? I've experienced homophobia, nasty comments, online, on the streets, whatever. I still work to do, right? The LGBTQ community, my fellows. I repressed it, I hid it, was in the class 13.3 years. I had experiences, homosexual experiences, and lusts and desires and love urges, because it's basically love, rainbow love, although as the rainbow, the color mixing for somebody who's just living in a black and white world and there's little gray, a rainbow can be very intense, right? And these energies, which are more coming, have been coming in the past decades into the world, a new aeon, a new being, as we move towards a global civilization, which the telecommunications, the satellites, the internet, because of the global village. Since 1904, more and more. 1947, 1961, 1963, a big year. Transformation, not just negative, a lot of good came out of it. The assassination of John F. Kennedy, of course, in 63 November, the civil rights movement, right? My brothers and sisters of African Americans, black, colored, people of color, my beautiful black brothers and sisters, Canada and the USA, right? Martin Luther in 1963, right? It's still not easy, right? Still not that accepted, right? For me to have a interracial, bisexual relation, right? Can be double trouble, right? Look, Michael Sam in the NFL. He didn't get to play. Personally, think that he was good enough to play, and a lot of people think that, but because he was gay, he didn't get to play. We got one, much like of the game of football, paradoxically, providentially, in a providential way. First game of football was played on November 6th, which my birthday, right? Call Nasib came out a few months ago, June, right? In June. Came out in June. 2.5 months ago, 93 days ago. And he's the only active player. Right? What will happen? Will he play the whole season? What's gonna happen? I've listened to his whole speech. He's the only one openly gay in the NFL. But he's not the only gay or bisexual player in the NFL. That I can guarantee and bet on that. I have no money to bet. I can bet that there are many, many other gay, bisexual players in the NFL. And I can go as far as saying that on each side, any given Sunday, today is Monday, who's playing? My Raiders are playing? No, my Raiders are not playing tonight. Who's playing tonight? Just to check. There's a game now. My Raiders lost yesterday. My San Francisco 49ers lost yesterday. My Bucks. Supporting Raiders due to Kal Nassib being the only gay. I'm a 49er for life, but got three Trinity teams this year. Got Raiders, got 49ers, and got Bucks. Buccaneers due to Brady. Scoring his, looks like he regenerated 7 years on the field, and is one of the oldest players to play, if not the oldest, and one of the best, paradoxically, on the field. He was born Leo in 77, right? So now the Colts and the Ravens are playing. Colts and the Ravens, Baltimore and Indianapolis. So I can guarantee you that on the field of the Colts and Ravens now, as they are playing, I can guarantee and say there's offense and there's defense at any given play, right? At any given play, right? One of the 4 quarters of 15 minutes each. 11, offense, defense. 11 offense, 11 defense. Out of those 11, there's at least one on each side that is at least bisexual. I have no doubt. I have no doubt on that. I say whatever you want. I'm too Freudian. I'm not Freudian. All of Sigmund Freud. He's a genius, was a genius. I don't believe everything Freud wrote, but at least I'd say a third of Freud's theories are true. And that in fact many of us, close to maybe half, a third, 33%, let's say 3 out of 10, are at least bisexual. Or have urges, impulses, love, or lust. Impulses or urges that are bisexual, homoerotic, homosexual, erotic, bisexual. Desire to have sex or pleasure or love person of the same sex or gender. Myself being pansexual means that do not discriminate when dating or for pleasure or for sex or love or lust, lust and love, love and lust. Whether they're trans men, trans women, or gender fluid, gender binary, that's what pansexual means. It includes being gay, being bisexual, and being pansexual is more, is the least. Most people are gay, bisexual, and of course trans. Mm, albeit a person can be gay, can be bisexual without being pansexual. Pansexual is, like myself, is more open to dating, to loving, to engaging in sex for sport or for pleasure, or BDSM switch, like I'm proposing Kanye West to marry yours truly in an open marriage, BDSM switch for world peace. Pansexual, that's what it means. It means that a person can be trans man, trans woman, non-binary, binary, gender fluid. So let's do some reading. I'm gonna be reading a little bit. So, mm, 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 mm. It fell. It didn't fall. It didn't fall on the floor, but I'm gonna go rinse this a bit, just because. National Coming Out Day, NCOD. NCOD is the acronym. Sounds like a code for a military affair. NCOD. Non-commissioned official diplomat. Non-commissioned official dispatch. Non-commissioned official directive. Come on with a few more. NCOD. Ready, set, hut. So at least one are playing on any given Sunday or Monday. Like now the Colts are playing. The Ravens, offense, defense. There's at least one out of the 11 that is bisexual, at least, or gay or bisexual. Who for XYZ reasons? Finance. I understand the financial pressures, right? It's tempting, eh? Yeah. Now, what's it's not in my financial, economic, commercial interest. Come out, say, right? I'm gonna repress it. I'm gonna suffer in pain, in silence, and I'm gonna fantasize and in the dark, right? But it grows crooked, eh? If you really live it in the dark, watching the night, it grows crooked in the dark. So best, sometimes it's best not to come out in the open. I'm not perfect, far from it. Perhaps I've harmed people in speech, in words, and deeds, and maybe even perhaps yesterday when I went for a walk, I said something perhaps seemingly inappropriate that a person experienced in XYZ fashion. I apologize. Apologize. Can I do reparations? You want to whip me? Okay, go ahead. Whip me. Tack, tack, tack. Give me a whip. Tack, tack, tack. Right? What, you wanna you wanna crucify me for wanting love, for loving? Ay, ay, ay. Humanity, man. Freedom, eh? This tattoo got it in New York. He said he was too busy to tattoo me, and he asked, "What do you want?" And I said, out of curiosity, I said, "I want freedom." He stopped when he heard that I wanted the word freedom, FREEDOM. He stopped. He said something to the other person he was tattooing. He stopped. He said, "I'm gonna tattoo you at half price in New York City just because." Said that the guy just the word to him was, no, but if we don't insure it, don't secure it, right now in my private life, right, I can turn this off, turn the lights off, close the blinds, start dancing naked. Start dancing naked, start dancing naked. Who knows? Maybe fantasizing about loving or a gangster rapper. Come here, you gangster rapper. Come to let me give you some kissy kissy. Spanky spanky. I've been a bad boy. Dragon's hero spank. Push-ups, god damn it. Push-ups. Push-ups. Or some push-ups or some kisses, god dang it. Would you love to see your student around a dragon kiss and spank Kanye West for world peace? Because he didn't mention the goddess in his new Donda album. It's like ga. And in here, unless I missed it, I'm gonna listen 3 times. I listened twice already to the whole album, the listening party. I'm gonna listen a 3rd time. Maybe I missed it. Maybe he did say goddess. Whose trees are but the hairs on the goddess's body. So many trees across the world, from here, from Hokkaido, Montreal, North America, to my favorite trees in Africa, where it was incarnated in many past lives by denial. In that life, many lives, was a farmer, and was a servant farmer to the priestesses of the goddess Hathor Isis Sekhmet, or basically they're one goddess with different names, which relates to the powers of the same goddess, if you will, of heavens, and then representing Mother Nature and what have you. I was a servant, and it was a privilege and an honor to bathe, to wash, to cook for them, to clean their quarters, that they were doing their rituals. Sunrise, afternoon, sunset, and so on, and on festivals and harvest. And they had secrets how to brew beer. They brew beer. Yet on the festivals, they brew beer, they danced, they also served the festivals. But I was just serving them, the priestesses, women in an office of spiritual office. And when I was incarnated in ancient Israel, in the temple of Solomon, Shlomo HaMelech, there's a mistranslation there. They were not concubines or wives, those hundreds, 770 wives and concubines, or the number, 700, 300, and 400 concubines and wives of Solomon. No. I did reveal unto thee, yours truly, in the incarnation. I was also a servant, attendant to the needs and the service of the priestesses of the goddess in the temple of Solomon. And they were dancing and doing rituals and chanting with flowers, all sorts of beautiful rituals, dressed in rainbow colors. Women priestesses in a spiritual office for the goddess. And I had to clean for them, I had to cook for them, I had to massage them if they willed, if they wanted a massage. I had to give them a massage, bathe them, prepare water for them. It was a holy, sacred, and divine task that I had to perform as their servant to the priestesses of the goddess in many past lives, including the Temple of Solomon, which I say was a mistranslation. They were not priestesses. They were priestesses, and not wives or concubines of Solomon. Great, holy, sacred, and divine mystery revealed now. I understand people don't come out. I'm living in a financial crisis myself. My sister, friend, oftentimes teacher, my love and call sister, who, to that trinity of friend, sister, teacher at the 4th dimension, being my one and only financial sponsor, asked me, If I ever make $1 from my art, from my dancing, I am the world's greatest living, dancing millennial rainbow poet. Fundamentally, I'm the world's greatest living, millennial dancing poet. Rainbow poet. The world's greatest living, dancing, millennial rainbow poet. Those 7 words. Fundamentally, in essence. In general, that's what I am. For my dancing, art, rap, whatever it is, working, projects, theories, script writing, creative writing. Ask me what are the 3 things which would support, which would philanthropic work. LGBTQ, nation, family, across borders, issues, rights, security, education, and action. Whether printing 1,000,000 rainbow flags, financing that, whatever, or rainbow hats to distribute, whatever, or for XYZ. Second, food security, because I've struggled myself. I had to also volunteered and did community work with different food organizations, food security organizations, food banks, and I had to take the service thereof. Even now, sometimes in Hawk Island, Montreal, my neighborhood where I reside now, resided in Côte des Neiges a few years back, residing in NDG, of course. Still one borough, most populated borough in Montreal was about 2.2 million. Hawk Island, Montreal. The whole metropolitan area is about more than 4.5 million, with the North Shore and the South Shore, but the island proper is about 2.2 million just on the island of Montreal. The different boroughs, neighborhoods, CDN, Côte des Neiges, NDG, Côte des Neiges, CDN, Côte des Neiges, CDN, NDG, Notre-Dame-de-Grâce. Food security, I do philanthropic work for food security. And third, for environment, Mother Nature, the greatest artist who inspires me. I revere, adore in many ways as the goddess dances with a bird, the sun getting that one kiss from the goddess of heaven's star-lit heavens, and that kiss turns into 93 trillion kisses, 718 billion 611,418,155 kisses. Many people are not open for XYZ reasons. I understand. Shame, guilt. And the body is a temple for pleasure and for purpose. So I encourage people to work out, train, exercise, which has been, is, and will be medicine and therapy for yours truly. 77 pounds down. Blood, sweat, and tears. It's an investment. Investment in the body. I said, I got money to invest. My workout, general war, integrated total body training system, which. Anybody willingly living to be a member of the Dragan army has to be able to do. You got 93 minutes to do 100 push-ups, 100 squats, 100 hawks. That Trinity hawks, push-ups, squats, 100 for each. 93, that's an hour and a half and 3 minutes to do it. Maximum 13 reps per set, minimum 3 or anywhere in between 7, 9, 6, or do 10. I'm doing 10 times 10. Well, now I'm doing them outside in the cement, concrete jungle, or on the mountain, or on the forest, or nearby the river. But nonetheless, right, so you can do 100 push-ups, 100 squats, 100 hawks, 93 minutes to do it, completed. Time allocated is 93 minutes to do the aforementioned 100 squats, 100 push-ups, 100 hawks. Maximum 13 reps per set, minimum 3. There's no pause once you start the clock. Countdown to 93 minutes. You gotta march, jog, walk, fast pace, run. A minimum of 31 seconds. in between each set. Whether you do 13 max or 3 minimum, those numbers keep together. They go hand in hand together. 13 and 3, 13 and 3, 13 and 3. Or anywhere in between, you can do different every time. Do 13, 3, 3, 13, 7, 8 until you get to 100. But in between each set, once you do whatever number you do for the set, whether 13 max, 3 minimum, or anywhere in between, there's no pause, no stops. You gotta jog, march, walk fast pace, run a minimum of 31 seconds in between. I recommend 5 to 10 minutes warming up, marching, jogging, walking fast pace before you do start doing the push-ups, the squats, and the hogs. Good luck. Post it, record a video, do it within the rules. Yours truly eligible to be the next dragon in line. 213 sessions I have performed, completed in my underground room, office, and temple. A few more to go. Initially, the goal was to get to 300 sessions. I'm more than 2/3, right? Because 213, 2/3 is 200 of 300. 300 sessions. Said I was going to do at the beginning when I started October 2019, and which, of course, the workout was created, made, and designed to go hand in hand with the World War III scenario, which I had taken into consideration after what was happening in the world, the US-China trade war, the arrest of Meng Wanzhou, the arrest of the two Michaels, and other geopolitical events. I was saying my analysis as an independent student, scholar of history, wars, geopolitics, civilizations, an independent student and of security analyst and theorist, said, hey, we, humanity, North America, Canada, Western world, free world, we are on a path to World War III. So creative design made that scenario, the workout, to go hand in hand like two sides to a coin. One does not go without the other. All right? For that World War III event scenario. I've said it in my marching, dance, and workouts, general war integrated total body training workouts, general war integrated total body training system. That is what I've just said. 93 minutes. Do 100 push-ups, 100 squats, 100 hogs. That Trinity hogs, push-ups, squats, 100 repetitions necessary required for each. 13 reps maximum per set, 3 minimum, or anywhere in between. You can do it different. It's not regimented, so you can play how you feel, how you want to experiment with what's best for you until you get it within the rules. Rules are simple, effective, and efficient. You got 93 minutes are allocated to do 100 push-ups, 100 squats, 100 hogs. That Trinity hogs, push-ups, squats, 100 for each. 13 repetitions maximum per set, 3 minimum anywhere in between. 7, 6, 3, 5. Minimum 31. 31, that's half a minute and 1 second. 31 seconds marching, jogging, walking fast pace in between each set. Whether you do push-ups, squats, hogs in whatever order, doesn't matter. Those are the rules. 4 basic rules. 93 minutes are allocated to do 100 push-ups, 100 squats, 100 hogs for that Trinity. Maximum 13 repetitions per set, minimum 3, keep in mind, or whatever else number between 13 and 3. You gotta march, jog, run, fast pace, a minimum of 31 seconds in between each set. So they do sets of 13 or 3 or anywhere else in between. Gotta march 31 seconds minimum. That's it. My lowest was 37 minutes and 49 seconds. So almost 38, almost 38 minutes. And the highest was about 77 minutes. And it was a longer one. So I never got close to 93. I always did it before for 80 minutes. Let's say 80 minutes. But you got 93 minutes. So within those rules, you can do it. Yours truly. Good luck. Record video, post. Yours truly, my official volunteer representative. Red Ciela, yellow work. Red Ciela, yellow work. Why you? Red Ciela, yellow work. Will direct, instruct, comment, or bless you in my name, Adrian Hannah Dragan. As for the Dancing Goddess Army, International Integrated Dance League, be an all gender, all ages, all sexual orientation, all gender identification and ages inclusive. We can have professional dancers like the cheerleaders of the NFL, whom I'm calling them for triple times 300 their salaries. To dance for recreation and for pleasure and for Mother Nature, the goddess that dances with the bird, the sun, and to clean, masculine the oceans, rivers, waterways, lakes, and to turn dancing into the most powerful weapon for world peace and rejuvenation and recreation and regeneration and recreation on earth. Most powerful weapon and sport on earth, dance, and holy, sacred, and divine dance is. We can have organized professional dancers with all levels of dancing, but to clean the oceans, rivers, waterways, lakes, forests, basically work to attain harmony between civilization and nature, are of course dancers dancing and putting in the work, calling all willingly loving. National Coming Out Day is an annual LGBTQ awareness day observed on October 11th to support lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender people. And of course, it's not mentioned here, but pansexual is encompassing. aka the LGBTQ plus community, of which yours truly and Hannah Dragan is in the open. Gonna be 7 years this Halloween, October 31st, that yours truly has come out as yes, bisexual slash gay, gay slash bi slash pansexual. Pansexual includes gay, bi, and sometimes also called a queer community. In coming out of the closet ain't easy, baby. I admit it, I struggled, I suffered, I pain. A lonely, depressed, blood and sweat and tears, sexual revolution, let's be clear. It's not what I admitted, a shame and guilt, body for temple of pleasure, get dirty, get clean, royal and lofty, we learn it to rapping, no money for the studio, god damn it, why'd you say goddess when you're saying the god songs? They used to burn us at the stakes, you say they call names, wanna burn us on the crucifix, god damn it, can't you see, please, got enough with the sun rises and success, bitch, motherfucker, what did you say, yeah, bitch, you say, bitch, you already rich millionaire, selfish ass, bitch, well, I know what you give, we forgive, but don't forget, bitch. As priestess of the goddess, I say, please. They call me names, they call me bitch, they call me Nana and the archangel dancing. Archangel dancing. But the goddess trees, be the hair on her body sees. On the overseas, please, then days on the knees. With a squeeze upon the art, with the English language, English sentence leads. We don't gotta speak, we don't gotta kiss, but we just gotta kiss, 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 receive and give. No selfish ass poison, that's some poison ass trick. Coming out of the closet, first celebrated in the United States in 1988. The initial idea was grounded in the feminist and gay liberation, spirit of the personal being political, and the emphasis on the most basic form of activism being coming out to family, friends, and colleagues. Anybody willingly loving to be my family? My official volunteer representative, Red CLIL work, will get in touch, comment, bless, otherwise keep my holy, sacred, and divine name out of your mouth. Adrian Hannah Dragan being reborn. Adrian H. Dragan died during this COVID. Get tested, get vaccinated. Got my 2 vaccines in the goddess. Tattoo of a forehead. Goddess. See? Representative of the goddess. No, fire and water, water and fire, fire and water. I think it's freedom. Right there. I'm willing to get the 3rd jab. Got the 2 Pfizer shots in the goddess's forehead. And willing to get the 3rd. So go get it. Get dirty but get back clean. Hygiene. Body's a temple for a purpose and for pleasure. Help how you can. Offer what you can. Theory is good. Philosophy is great. Books a million. Got words, but sometimes also requires action. Do. Get dirty but get back clean. Otherwise, bacteria, germs, and microbes get us not royal, lofty, legal, clean. Form of activism being coming out to family, friends, and colleagues and living life as an openly lesbian or gay person. The foundational belief is that homophobia thrives in an atmosphere of silence and ignorance, and that once people know that they have loved ones who are lesbian or gay, they are far less likely to maintain homophobic or oppressive views. National Coming Out Day. Observed by LGBTQ community. Yours truly. Me, you, us. We rainbow family across borders. You, me, us. We rainbow family across borders. You, me, us. We rainbow family across borders. Observed by the LGBTQ community. Type national and international. First observed in the United States in 1988, and we are worldwide, global, international, so it's international. Date October 11. Frequency annual, related to 1987 March on Washington. So that's what we're gonna do. Second National March on Washington for lesbian and gay rights. I've been marching for world peace for years. Hard concrete streets, Rainbow Hana, Dragan Zero, la 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 la. Artist, independent athlete, activist, universal revolutionary centrist, world peace. We gotta secure freedom, it ain't easy, gotta admit. Deal we stress with, deal we regret, deal we move forward up on civilization satellites with rockets up. Food secured, housing secured, transport secured, Dragon Army. Public-private partnership, don't got all answers, I'm not perfect, far from it. Second National March on Washington for lesbian and gay rights. More coffee. I'm gonna have to wait a bit until it heats. And background and planning. Well, the second National March on Washington for lesbian and gay rights was a large political rally that took place in Washington, D.C. on October 11th, 1987. Its success, size, scope, and historical importance have led to it being called the Great March. The dividends of dissent, how conflict and culture work in lesbian and gay marches on Washington. It marked the first national coverage of ACT UP. AIDS Coalition to Unleash Power is an international grassroots political group working to end the AIDS pandemic. The group works to improve the lives of people with AIDS through direct action, medical research, treatment, and advocacy. With AIDS activists prominent in the main march, as well as making headlines the next day during mass civil disobedience actions at the United States Supreme Court building. The Supreme Court building houses civil disobedience is the active, professed refusal of a citizens to obey certain laws, demands, orders, or commands of a government, corporation, or other authority. By some definitions, civil disobedience has to be non-violent to be called civil. Hence, civil disobedience is sometimes actions of the United States Supreme Court building. The Supreme Court building houses the Supreme Court of the United States, also referred to as the Marble Palace. The building serves as the official residence and workplace of the Chief Justice of the United States and the 8 Associate Justices of the Supreme Court. Background and planning. The desire for a national march in the LGBTQ community was prompted by two major events in the 1980s. The AIDS pandemic. the Ronald Reagan administration lack of acknowledgement of the AIDS crises, and the Supreme Court of the United States ruling in Bowers versus Harwick, upholding the criminalization of sodomy between two consenting men in the privacy of a home. In 1986, Steve Alt and Joyce Hunter, co-coordinators of the 1979 National March on Washington for Lesbian and Gay Rights, drafted documents to extend lesbian and gay organizations, soliciting interest in a new march. The response was favorable, and the two organized an initial planning meeting in New York City on July 16, 1986, where it was decided that the march would be held in 1987. Representatives from all known lesbian and gay organizations were subsequently invited to a national conference in New York City on November 14 to 16, 1986, where they would discuss the politics, logistics, and organization of the event. The delegates would be addressing four primary concerns. How will a march on Washington, what will a march on Washington accomplish? 2. How should organizers and LGBTQ organizations proceed? 3. What should be the focus and platform of the event? And when should the march take place? The conference was held under the slogan, "For love and for life, we're not going back." Like that. For love and for life, we're not going back. For love and for life, we're not going back. For love and for life, we're not going back. Love it. Throughout the planning weekend, delegates debated many aspects of the march itself, including the needs of more marginalized members of the community, lesbian and gay people of color, those living in poverty, and with disabilities. The second meeting of the steering committee was held in January 1987 in the city of West Hollywood at City Hall. Steve Alt, Pat Norman, and Kay Osberg were elected as the three national co-chairs of the event. The final organizational meeting for the march took place in Atlanta on May 2nd to 3rd, 1987. This meeting served primarily to hammer out logistical details and determine the slate of individuals to speak at the rally. I get that coffee now, come back in 37 seconds, maybe almost 38. The delegates at the West Hollywood Convention chose 7 primary demands to serve as the platform for the 1987 march. Each of these demands was supplemented with a broader list of demands which extended beyond the scope of single issue LGBT concerns. In doing so, the organizers wished to underscore the recognition that oppression of one group affects oppression of all groups. The 7 primary demands were: the legal recognition of lesbian and gay relationships, the repeal of all laws that make sodomy between consenting adults a crime. I can't imagine that in 1987 in the United States, Canada, or anywhere that one free, so-called free world, there would be laws that would still make sodomy between consenting adults a crime in 87. Imagine. So it was still in many parts in 1987, which is not that far away, right? Still millennials. I'm a millennial, so millennials were those born between 1981 and 1996. So my LGBTQ millennial, world's greatest living dancing poet. But that in 1987 there was still laws making sodomy between two consenting adults who agree, to be a crime, right? A presidential order banning discrimination by the federal government. Passage of the Congressional Lesbian and Gay Civil Rights Bill. an end to discrimination against people with AIDS, ARC/HIV positive status, or those perceived to have AIDS. Massive increases in funding for AIDS education, research, and patient care. Money for AIDS, not for war. Reproductive freedom, the right to control our own bodies, and an end to sexist oppression. Sexist oppression, so based on against women, misogyny. An end to racism in this country, and apartheid in South Africa. The march was part of 6 days of activities. Ah, stop throwing dirt, filth, and poison in my eye, brother. The march was part of 6 days of activities, with a mass wedding and protest in front of the Internal Revenue Service on October 10, and 3 days later, a civil disobedience act in front of the Supreme Court building, protesting its rulings upholding Bowers versus Hardwick. The march, demonstration, and rally also included the first public display of Cleve Jones' Names Project AIDS Memorial Quilt. What is that? The Names Project AIDS Memorial Quilt, often abbreviated to AIDS Memorial Quilt or AIDS Quilt, is an enormous memorial to celebrate the lives of people who have died of AIDS-related causes. Weighing an estimated 54 tons, it is the largest piece of community folk art in the world as of 2020. Wow. Largest piece of community folk art in the world as 2020. Largest piece of community. Largest, it is the largest piece of community folk art in the world as of 2020. Wow, I'm learning today by reading. See? So I had no idea that this AIDS memorial kilt, officially the Names Project AIDS Memorial Kilt, abbreviated as AIDS Memorial Kilt or AIDS Kilt. It is the largest piece of community folk art in the world as of 2020. Wow. Weighing 54 tons. A ton is 1,000 kilos, right? A kilo is 2.2 pounds. So imagine. Heavy, heavy, heavy. So I want to go see it. It's March. Dragan dancing got his arm in March. Watch them add some of March across North America. From Hawk Island, Montreal, passing through New York, to Washington, we go to LA, and we go to Mexico, and throughout the Americas. Pan America. One continent, two oceans. One world, one sun, one moon. World peace. The march itself was led by small. I'm gonna have to make it bigger. Let me see if I can. I have to zoom in a bit. I guess it's So okay, maybe a bit like this. The march itself was led by Cesar Chavez. Cesar Chavez was an American labor leader and civil rights activist. Along with Dolores Huerta, he co-founded the National Farm Workers Association, which was later merged with the Agricultural Workers Organization Committee. Thank you to the farmers who harvested the fruits. It's rutabaga, it's potato, it's carrot, squash. They're from Quebec produce, Quebec potatoes, because I read labels. So I read labels. I know it is local, homegrown, North American, Quebec, Canada. Thank you, farmers, for and to eat this so I can educate myself, read, think, create art, do some rap. Ah, back at it. It's just that. Check the battery, so I'm gonna have to plug it. And I'm gonna have to keep in mind the time since 10 o'clock for me to reach should be although it's holiday. We're the neighbors. I know they have children, so I have to be considerate. Small children, so I'm letting the air in, so to be considerate. And then my headphones. And don't live in a gated community with acres of land where I can scream. I gotta live in cause we're neighbors. So the march itself was led by Cesar Chavez. The march referring to the March on Washington, which I'm reading. The Second National March on Washington for Lesbian and Gay Rights. Eleanor Smeal. Eleanor Smeal is one of the major leaders of the modern-day American feminist movement. Jesse Jackson is an American political activist, Baptist minister, and politician. He was the candidate for the Democratic presidential nomination in, oh, it's so small, so small, so small. 1984, 1984, 1984. Whoopi Goldberg. Oh, I love you, Whoopi, Whoopi, whoop me, whoop me, Whoopi, Whoopi, Whoopi. Love Whoopi. She's so funny. I love her. I love her, love her, love her movies. As a matter of fact, maybe I'll check out if I can find a movie tonight. Watch one of Whoopi Goldberg's movies, which there are many great ones. However, I'm learning something about Whoopi Goldberg now. Well, I mean, we can't really know all there is. We have secrets and things we're embarrassed and ashamed not to admit, like yours truly, Hannah Dragan kind of admits a lot of things that maybe the majority does not. Nonetheless, Whoopi Goldberg, Karen Elaine Johnson, known professionally as Whoopi Goldberg. So her name is Karen Elaine Johnson, known professionally as Whoopi Goldberg, and she's a Scorpio, like yours truly, Hannah Dragan. Whoopi Johnson, Karen Elaine Johnson, known professionally as Whoopi Goldberg, is an American actor, author, comedian, and television personality. Love you, Whoopi, Whoopi Goldberg, and several other celebrities who are followed by people with AIDS and their supporters, a number of whom were in wheelchairs. Members of ACT UP, ACT UP, AIDS Coalition to Unleash Power, is an international grassroots political group working to end the AIDS pandemic. Brought their brand of theatrical and photogenic direct action to the march. Cool. Artsy stuff. Love it. Theatrical and photogenic direct action to the march and were featured prominently in the media at the event. Brought their brand of theatrical and photogenic direct action to the march. Brought their brand of theatrical and photogenic direct action to the march and were featured prominently in the media of the event. Speakers of the rally at the rally included, among others, former National Organization for Women President Eleanor Smeal, Union President and Latino civil rights figure Cesar Chavez, actor, and comedian Whoopi Goldberg, Jesse Jackson, then a candidate for the Democratic nomination for president. Jackson told the crowd, "Let's find common ground for humanity. Share the desire for life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness, equal protection under the law. Let's not dwell on distinctions." Judy Towing McCarthy, the letter community's keynote speaker at the march. Letter subculture denotes practices and styles of dress organized around sexual activities that involve leather garments such as leather jackets, vests, boots, chaps, harnesses, or other items. Cool. Wearing leather garments is one way the participants in this culture self-consciously distinguish. Love it. Can't afford any right now, but sure. Would wear rainbow or black, or for world peace. Or there's a letter pride flag. Learning today. Yeah, I kind of knew about it, but symbol for the letter subcultures with the red heart and a white stripe in the middle and two black stripes with two blue stripes across like this horizontally. Well, yeah. 1989 was designed. Male little culture has existence since the late 1940s, growth of World War II biker culture. In 1984, the Folsom Street Fair in San Francisco was held for the first time. It is and was the world's largest leather event and showcase for BDSM. I'm into that. Bondage, domination, submission, or masochism. That's what BDSM stands for. And of course, yours truly, Rainbow Dragon, Dragon Zero, Priestess, Goddess, the Goddess, that's what about the Sun. HN and H is asking yours truly, yay, Kanye West, to marry me in an open BDSM switch. Google it. Marriage for world peace. We're gonna do rap for world peace. I want them to sing this because I'm still challenging Donald Trump to a boxing match on the Canadian-US border. You know, Dragon's fists will make Donald Trump's nose grow like a noge yo bro yo. Cut up with that crab hole. With a yo on the logo. For real though. 1984. The 1987 march marked increased visibility for bisexuals. A bisexual contingent of about 75 marched and then held the first nationwide bisexual gathering, which led to the eventual 1990 founding of the North American Bisexual Network. Lanika Humanu's article, The Bisexual Movement, Are We Visible Yet?, was also included in the Civil Disobedience Handbook for the Supreme Court action. The 200,000 person estimate, widely quoted from the New York Times, was made several hours before the march actually began. Similarly, most of the pictures the mainstream media used were taken early in the morning or at the AIDS quilt viewing area rather than of the much larger march itself. Police on the scene estimated numbers during the actual march to be closer to 750,000, so that's more than 300. That's more than three times. That's more than three times the 200,000 person estimate. If it was close to 750,000, that's 750,000. While the estimate was 200,000, that's a big, it's more than 500,000 difference. So it's three times. The event was supported and endorsed from its early stages by such national LGBT organization as the National Gay and Lesbian Task Force. Energized by the sense of community, moved by the AIDS quilt, and inspired by the activists from ACT UP New York, many participants returned home and started their own chapters, ACT UP or similar lesbian and gay rights organizations. A year later, in commemoration of the march and to continue the momentum, the first National Coming Out Day was established. There you go. So National Coming Out Day today, still for the next 2 hours. It's 9:54 p.m. EST, Hawkeye, Montreal. And we now know the origins of it with the march, which we just read about. So the National Coming Out Day, which is today, was inaugurated in 1988 by Robert Eichberg and Jean O'Leary. Eichberg, who died in 1995 of complications from AIDS, was a psychologist from New Mexico and the founder of the personal growth workshop, The Experience. O'Leary was an openly lesbian political leader, a longtime activist from New York, and was at the time the head of the National Gay Rights Advocates Los Angeles. LA. LGBT activists including Eichberg and O'Leary did not want to respond defensively to anti-LGBT action because they believed it would be predictable. This led them to establish NCOD, the National Coming Out Day, in order to maintain positivity and celebrate coming out. The date of October 11 was chosen because it is the anniversary of the 1987 National March on Washington for lesbian and gay rights, of which we just finished reading and learning and educating ourselves about, being part of the LGBTQ community. There's so much history which us, the Rainbow Nation, we share collectively, and with our individual coming out experiences and stories, and individually and collectively. This is part of the LGBTQ nation, Rainbow Nation, across borders, across nations, history here. Initially administered from the West Hollywood offices of the National Gay Rights Advocates, the first NCOD received participation from 18 states, garnering national media coverage. In its second year, NCOD headquarters moved to Santa Fe, New Mexico, and participation grew to 21 states. After a media push in 1990, NCOD was observed in all 50 states and 7 other countries. I'm celebrating it in parallel with Canadian Thanksgiving. My Thanksgiving to the goddess that dance with the brother, the sun, on the daily, sunrise, midday, midnight sun, sunset, sunrise. Participation continued to grow, and in 1990 they merged with their efforts with the Human Rights Campaign. Observance. National Coming Out Day is observed annually to celebrate coming out and to raise awareness of the LGBTQ community and civil rights movement. The first decades of observance were marked by private and public people coming out, often in the media, to raise awareness and let the mainstream know that everyone knows at least one person who is lesbian or gay. In more recent years, because coming out as LGBT is now far less risky in most Western countries, the day is more of a holiday. Participants often wear pride symbols such as pink triangles and rainbow flags. National Coming Out Day is also observed in Ireland, Switzerland, the Netherlands, and the United Kingdom. In the United States, the Human Rights Campaign sponsors NCDO events under the auspices of the National Coming Out Project, offering resources to LGBT individuals, couples, parents, and children, as well as straight friends and relatives, to promote awareness of LGBT families living honest and open lives. Candace Gingrich became the spokesman of NCD in April 1995. From 1990, Candace Gingrich became a spokesperson in April 1995. From 1999 to 2014, the Human Rights Campaign announced a team to go with each NCOD. 1999, Come Out to Congress. 2000, Think It Over. 2001, An Out Odyssey. 2002, Being Out Rocks. 2003, It's a Family Affair. 2004, Come Out, Speak Out, Vote. 2005, 2007, Talk About It. 2009, Conversations from the Heart. 2010, 2009, Coming Out for Equality. 2012, Come Out, Vote. 2013, Coming Out Still Matters. Wow. Learned something today. And now gonna write pan pansexual with a P. Being pansexual. Pansexuality is sexual, romantic, or emotional attraction towards people regardless of their sex or gender identity. Which is, yeah, I am pansexual. Pansexual people may refer to themselves as gender blind, asserting that gender and sex are not determining factors in their romantic or sexual attraction to others. Pansexuality may be considered a sexual orientation in its own right or a branch of bisexuality to indicate an alternative sexual identity. Because pansexual people are open to relationships with people who do not identify as strictly men or women, and pansexuality therefore rejects the gender binary. It is considered by some to be a more inclusive term than bisexual. The extent to which the term bisexual is inclusive when compared with the term pansexual is debated within the LGBTQ community, especially the bisexual community. Pansexuality is often referred as omnisexuality. Omnisexuality may be used to describe those attracted to people of all genders across the gender spectrum, and of course of different, regardless of ethnic, national, racial. Although I believe in one human race, but regardless of the of race or nationality or stuff like that, regardless of gender. Sexual romantic attraction to, that's about it. It's an umbrella term, so I'm saying. That's it for today. October 11th. Coffee, reading, educating, and some art rapping. Yours truly, Adrian H. Dragonborn being reborn. Adrian Hana Dragon, yours truly.